Now in this video we can look at how to prepare our 3ds Max model so that we can take it directly to Lumion. Now most of the things here it's already prepared to take it quite easily to Lumion. The only things that we need to make modifications to are the windows and the door. The reason is, if you take a look at the window, it has two materials, the frame and the window. But if we take this into Lumion thinks that this entire thing is just one material, so we need to fix that. The door, on the other hand, I mean, it's not a big deal because it has a frame and a panel, the door panel, but both of those are wood, so it's not going to be that much of an issue as it might be for the window, because the glass needs to be glass, right? So we need to have a glass and a wood frame, so we need to fix that issue. Other than that, when we bring this into Lumion, it should work quite nicely. The only thing that we might want to change or remove is this bitmap, because we don't need it anymore. We can just remove that right here. So I'm just going to select it and just delete it. And the others, we have the plinth, we have the floor, we have the bathroom floors done, as you can see. So all of those would get different types of materials. The roof would get a different type of material. But another thing that we can do with the roof is, when we add the different type of material, these four sides would behave differently. So we might want to look at how to change that using an edit poly as well. But before that, let's go ahead and take a look at our window. I'm gonna select the window and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the modify panel and add an edit poly. So add an edit poly, and under edit poly, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scroll down a bit. I'm going to select polygon, so I'm going to select polygon, and I'm going to scroll down, and under polygons you have a place where it says polygon material IDs. Now what this does is this window has a number of polygons. Like every face that you see is a polygon, but we want this polygon and this polygon to be glass. So if you select those two polygons, this one it's 3, this one it's 3, these are different numbers. So as you can, if you select any of these, it will give you different numbers, and that's okay. All we're concerned about is this, adding different materials to this. But the thing is, we need to add one material that has two properties to it. So let's see what kind of material we can add here. So I'm going to go into my material editor, and I'm going to go into an empty slot, this one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on standard. If you have the physical materials, just click on the physical material, that works as well. I'm just going to go and click on standard, and it should open up your material map browser. And on this one, I want to select a material type called multi-sub object. What it does is, this multi-sub object material, it's one material in one container, but it can give out material to different faces. Like in the case of the window that we are trying to add material to, it can give a material to the glass, it can give a material to the wood frame. So what we are going to do is we're going to click on this multi-sub material. So we're going to change this slot to a multi-sub object material. So click on that, double click on that. It's going to say keep old material, sub material, no, discard old material. I'm just going to discard it. There was a material somehow. And now when you create that material sub object, it has this material ID, which we saw here. We have a material ID here. So the only material ID that we need to worry about is number 3, because if you select number 3, you know that that's the glass, right? So we need to add a glass to that particular material. Others need to be all wood. So let's go ahead and add to the material ID 3. Go into the slot which says none. Click on it, and then I'm going to add a physical material. So So I'm going to make it a physical material, and it should open up the physical material properties. And under that, I'm going to select a preset. I'm going to select glass thin geometry, solid geometry, whatever. It doesn't really matter, honestly. Let's do thin geometry instead. Glass thin geometry. Right, now that's that. And now I need to get back to that material sub-object properties. So I go and click on this which says parent, so it goes back to the previous menu that we were in. Now all of these up to number 10, we're just gonna add wood. I'm not really sure how many we have here, but just in case, I'm just gonna add wood to all of these, and that should work. So I'm gonna click on none and go to physical material again, and then I'm gonna add glossy a satin varnish wood preset from the physical. So that's I'm gonna go back up to parent, and now that's that. And I'm just gonna drag and drop it to the other slots. It's gonna say instance, and that's okay. I'm gonna add an instance, just dragging and dropping it to the none and saying instance, and that's okay. Only this one's gonna be glass, so I'm just gonna add mo here, add more here, add one here, just in case. Alright, there you go. And this one, it's black, and that's okay. And then what we can do is we can just drag and drop it onto the glass panel and see what happens. So let's add that in, and you can see the glass is transparent, and we don't see the frame yet. So let's go and say material, realistic material with maps, and you see the wood frame and the glass, which is different from what we have here. So just drag and drop to all of the windows that you have, and you should be good to go. So let's go into the other side, and there we have it. I'm not going to change the material of the dough. That's it. And I'm also gonna edit my roof because the ceiling needs to have a different finish. So I'm gonna go and add a ceiling. Or another thing that we can do is we can just add a ceiling, or we can add a material sub-object to the roof so that this bottom panel is a different material, this panel is a different material, and so on and so forth. So we can do that if you want to, but the easy way out is add a plane or another small box inside of this building. So let's do that. That might be easier. So I'm gonna close this off. I'm gonna go into create. I'm gonna go into standard primitives and make a box. Let's move this first. It might be easier for us to create a ceiling. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna make a box. Maybe it doesn't really matter where you place it. It's gonna be really thin. So that's our box, and I'm gonna give it a height and maybe raise it up a bit, up to that point perhaps, so that we don't really see it above our roof. Just right there. So if you scroll around, that's how it's gonna appear, and just place the roof back on. So those are going to be two materials, and we're just faking it, but it works. So as I said, the other option is to make this a make or add a material which has sub-objects, where you can make this an editable poly and then make this face a different material. That works as well, but this is much easier out of box. And now our building is ready to be exported to 3ds Max. Sorry, Lumion. So as I said, what we can do is we can export this as export it, or we can save it. When we save it, it's going to be a 3ds Max file, and we can bring it into Lumion right away. Or what we can do is we can just export it as a FBX. So that's the best option, because it takes, if you have materials in your model, it takes, or it understands, Lumion understands the material that you provided much easily, and also it doesn't have any linked materials when you have FBX, so that makes things easier. So what I can do is I can go to my desktop and go to 3ds Max. I have a cottage FBX here, which I tried previously to export. Make it cottage 2. Let's make it cottage 2 FBX and save it there. And it's gonna ask you a bunch of questions. I'm not gonna go into these. Just say OK, and that should work fine. It's gonna warning and error geometry. It's fine. It's nothing serious, so just say OK. And it should have exported your FBX file, the cottage 2 FBX file there. And in the next video we'll see how we can import it into Lumion and then add materials to our little